Google. If I really wanted to know something like that, I can Google this course at Conestoga and find out the same stuff. If I'm interested enough to go look at that, like these basic skills, like chances are with this, like video editing in Photoshop aren't really relevant. So we could maybe throw a few more technical things up here and then just kind of drop this or somehow fit it in up here in a more concise way and get this down to that one page. That's kind of a sweet point for these newer roles. So with the next one, we can go there. So with that last one, I guess I didn't say, I would probably call that person back for an interview if I was doing an Android developer role. I found there was a good experience, good mapping of the experience. It just, those tweaks would really help. So with this one, I did not like that education was first, especially if you are applying to co-op roles. That's not the first thing I need to know about you. I'm assuming you're getting some sort of education of some sort, and I probably am in your school's portal, so I know what school you're coming from at least, so I don't need that up front. What I do want to know is about like some skills you think you have, what work experience you have, and those things first. So this one, the order really needs to be like shifted around. And I like the skills section is at the bottom, and this would be a great thing to be at the top for what's already on here. And like swapping the skills and education would make this a lot stronger. These had some great examples of effective bolding to highlight relevant things. Just having those little bits of boldness like brings the eye to it, makes it a little bit more interesting, makes me want to read that whole sentence. And they had like those were great, well-written metrics. This is probably a resume I would like try to find more about the person on and probably call for an interview. With this one, this resume comes across really wordy. It looks like they're using that like word font, that spacing that makes it go the full width, which is really adding a lot of space, and it would be better to just be like fully normally aligned without that. I would love to see it brought down in like the visual heaviness of this. There's also this point about social media marketing and video creation and production, which is a great experience to have. But if you're not applying to roles where that's relevant, I wouldn't put that there. I would kind of nix it. But if you are applying to some tech job that I don't know about, that is a crossover between like tech jobs and social media marketing, then that's absolutely relevant and you can keep it there. But if you are applying to like a software engineer role or a data analysis role or something, that's not giving that, it's taking up too much space for what it's giving in relevance. But these other confidence, like they sound really confident points after that, and I really like reading that. It's really good. There's this core competencies second section, which kind of mirrors like a skills section. I would rather just see this as like, this is my skills section, have like 5 bullet points here that are easy to quickly read through instead of these sentences. That would be what I was more inclined to do. The other thing with this one is with the experience that is here, the social media coordination and the customer service representation is the first thing we're seeing in experience, but there is relevant tech experience after that. So I would love to see that these are like minimized. That might be what you're actively doing now and really interested in and working on, but minimizing these so that these are higher up on the list for reading because they have a bit more relevance would be a good thing to do. Other than that, it looks pretty good.
This is the next resume.
Yeah. So this one, I really liked the skills section. They knew what I find. What I noticed while hiring is people don't know how to categorize things and often do it improperly. So having these categories in the skills thing proper. Like those are frameworks, those are languages, those are databases. That is version control, or there is available version control with that, and those are tools. Like it all kind of made sense to me, and I liked this. This was really easy for me to see what I was looking for and find out the information I needed, which made me like want to keep reading because I was enjoying like this is good. I loved that it was one page. Problem with the naming of the frameworks and that MySQL and SQL are not the same thing, so those should not be on the same line as brackets. Um, and that was the only thing up there. I don't actually know. Yeah, I did write that down. Um, Other than that, with the work experience, this is some pretty good work experience to put here. Pioneered is a bit of a weird word to use there. Pioneered backend and API development is a very weird sentence, and that would make me not want to call you because I would think you don't know what a backend API is by reading that. So I would be a little off put by that sentence, so that should be reworked. Also, your role is more important than the company that you worked for, so highlight that first. It's more important to me that you are a backend developer than you worked at company X or Y. So I wanted to see that first. There's this optimized backend RESTful APIs and design scalable MongoDB database structure to improve application performance and accommodate growing user and data needs. That is a beautifully written resume sentence. I like that sentence and makes me want to forgive the other sentence because this does sound like you know what you're talking about. And so I was happy I kept reading, but I was doubting you because of that other sentence. Personal projects, I just put a note here that if you have a GitHub link, it'd be great to put it in there. And then like the very last sentence, you sneak in that you helped develop an AI system. Put that in the top. Highlight that in your skills that you have like working experience or personal project experience using AI. Sell that. Like that's like all the rage in tech right now is anything AI, AI, AI. So you might as well hit the buzzword and have the upper hand. Okay, that's all for that one.
Next one.
This one is like an okay thing. Same thing, education's at the top. I would prefer not to see that at the top. The first point I actually wrote on here is worked on the app from scratch. That is quite a vague line that has a lot of potential to like to deliver me something wonderful. So like, did you architect this app? Did you design the models? Did you set up all the testing or CI? Did you set up a database for this? Like, what did you do? There's so much that can go on to setting up something from scratch that this would be a great place to highlight it. So we highlighted localization, but there's so much else that this sentence can give that would be really valuable information to have there. Same thing kind of occurred in the second job experience. We implemented a loosely coupled module, but we didn't say what that module entails. And I would love to know what that module entailed a little bit. I would love to know, was it UI components? Was it like this business logic about checkout logic, or like what did this actually like look like? Give me just like a little bit more to go off there. And the next point I have after that is the last point for that job was handled and attended Scrum calls and meetings. I totally get the urge to put this on your resume. I have the same urge. But for the sake of simplicity, this is filler content. And we are going to assume that you are going to come to a call. We assume you're going to come to our meetings and that is going to be productive. But I do like the second part of that sentence that trained a few fellow interns. Highlight that instead. Drop that I went to a call I had to do every day because that is expected, and put in the I trained people, I helped people, and that would be a lot more effective. Just a little note about tense being wrong. You use the word basic. It's not a basic media player. Oversell it. It's the best media player that's ever existed.
That's
um,
great.
but once I got reading through the rest of these, I noticed that these are kind of things you probably did for a job, and those aren't really what I would expect in a project section of a resume. Just keeping that in mind. Though these are things you did, these aren't what the project section of a resume is generally used for. Project sections is used for like open source work or your personal pet projects or your school projects that you're really proud of, or that's basically it actually. So anything you worked at for a company, though you might be able to speak to it eloquently in an interview, I wouldn't put those in the project sections. I would just add a few more points to your experience, and highlight the same things there and just keep the project section off then. But I really liked the iOS frameworks and the skills here. They're all spelled correctly. They're all highlighted beautifully. So good job on that.
Yeah.
Okay, I did this one too.
Yep. Good.
This one needed some proofreading help. Um, I didn't have the time to sit here and add the comments for all of it, but I would highly recommend somebody just go through, proofread this, make sure grammar's correct, fix any problems with capitalization and period inconsistencies as well. Sometimes it's really, really hard to see yourself when you're the one who wrote the thing. So a second pair of eyes is great. It's not embarrassing to get somebody else to read your resume. It is only good. Um, so in the technical summary here, just first the highlighting qualifications. I like those. I'm good with the objective and the highlights of qualifications. In the technical summary, you were inconsistent in how you were describing these. So you have like these quantifying verbs before, like fluent in or familiar with, but you didn't put that with framework. So it makes me it's just like an attention to detail thing that I think should be added there. Microsoft Server isn't a thing, but Microsoft SQL Server is a thing. So I think you might have meant that. If you didn't, if you meant Windows Server, maybe. Um, but that's not a database, so it's probably SQL Server. Uh,
Something like that.
just making sure that when you do proofread, like catching things like that, because that is off-putting. Um, I put a nice comment here saying, woohoo, links, nice. I was excited to see a link to a project. I was very excited to be able to um, put something to the thing you were describing. I loved seeing that. You do have working history in Waterloo, and it might just be a customer service job that might feel slightly irrelevant to you, but I think it's worth at least 1 point on your resume to describe it. It's going to make this work history section stand out more. And I think it is important to highlight that you do have some sort of working experience, whether it's in industry or not. So there's probably a way to like maybe clean things up a bit that you can get that point in and still maintain the one page. But I do think it's worth adding 1 point so that section doesn't get lost. At the bottom here, it says references gladly provided on requests. This is something that's generally assumed, especially in jobs in North America. So there's no need to include this line. Maybe you can replace this line with that extra bullet point and keep it on one page then. Other than that, this looks great.
Great. Thank you, Danica. I can now cover Tina's little comments there too. And if you feel like something jumps out and you want to hop in, that'd be great. I'll save
Yeah, I
you
did
from
end up
talking.
looking through all of them,
Yeah.
but I did not comment on these ones. So I
Oh,
might have
that's
comments.
sweet. Great. Okay. So Tina did say that this was a great section and that it's helpful to see all the skills and technical stack in one place as an employer. So having it all in a section and also following a different style was a little bit better with that. Then matching grammar tenses consistently in your cover letter would change this to assisted. So there's some grammar errors there. And then the first 2 points are somewhat vague. I'd remove them. or replace them with quantifiable tasks like you did in the two other experiences. And then here, this is covering the projects here. If you have a section regarding projects, I would add some brief information about the project you worked on. Otherwise, just include the GitHub link and remove this section that just have more space. So just with linking your projects as well. And Dinik, if you had anything to say about this one, any other points? Sure.
No, I agree with what she has there.
Great. All right, so now this is another style here. So she did talk about this being a great example of how to list experience, quantifiable information is really helpful. So yeah, following that as a general guide is definitely helpful to quantify your experiences. So when employers see that, that's good to see. And then expected here, it makes it clear to employers that you're currently in a school program. Okay, so, oh, I see. Yeah, so they extended it kind of when they were going to graduate, I believe. That's when that's going to be. So if you do present or expected, as what she said there. And then this is in the project section here. So this is the traffic monitoring system. These are great points and super informative. Adding bold to the specific skills is helpful as well. I would just make all the body of all three projects a dash, so that is consistent throughout your resume. Great. And then overall, your resume is very organized and clear to review. Great job. So Tina did like that one. And anything from Danica?
I like this one too. The only thing I would do is moving the skills to the top or at least above education.
Okay.
Maybe swap skills and education.
Let's see. Get it now. Okay. Now this is a different style one here too. Okay, so Tina did talk about no need to add the time. Dates are enough. So I believe that's just adding the time for the dashes there. So 2 months long. So just doing the dates would be fine. And then make sure grammar is consistent. Try not to switch between different tenses. I would also modify how you wrote the descriptions. You can use one line to describe the project, but the rest of the point should only reflect your experience and what you did in the project specifically. It's making the experience lower specified at least. Avoid using I in the resume. You can simply put developed the writing with the help of ... These are your experiences, but no need to include the subject of I as we know it's yours. This is the web developer experience here. Again, use consistent grammar and tense. Describe your project in one sentence, /point, and then focus on the rest of your work specifically. Page. And then, if possible, use a resume format that can fit on one page. For students / people with 0 to 3 years of experience, it's easier to review when all info is in one page. Okay. Oh, skip that one. I think I went above there. There we go. Okay, we're back. Danica, if you did have any points on
Yeah,
that one?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is a LinkedIn profile exported through LinkedIn to their resume format. I'm just going to go ahead and say, take the time to change this into a document that you format it yourself and don't use that. It's great if you're feeling like you don't have the time to do it, and it's a great jumping off point, but it shouldn't be your final resume. We want to see see a little bit more effort put into the resume. So this is a great jumping off point, but I would take the time to translate this into your own one-page resume.
No, great. Okay, next resume. So resume number 13. So Tina's first point was about the education here. So once you gain some experience, whether it's in the form of school projects or internships, you should add that here. All experience is good experience. So school projects and collaborations you've worked on is important information. You can add this before or after education. And then second point here. Once you gain more experience, you can remove this and ensure that all your information is concise and presented within one page. Okay, great. Anything to say about this one?
Um, um, I think this has a lot of potential. I do like the idea of putting any sort of experience on their project or unrelated industry experience. Like if you're like a server or worked at fast food or anything like that is like relevant and should be on here as well. Um, I was reading, just skimming this one right now, and I'm curious about what your fluent in native language is and what your native language is. Having the actual language there would be nice. I don't know if that was an audit to
Oh,
for
native.
yeah. I don't know if this was like part of the anonymization of this one that they took out their native language, but just making sure that's not actually just I speak English and this other language that I'm not telling you about.
Yeah, like listing them would be good then. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Great. Okay, now on to the next. Okay, a different style one here now. Tina said, great way to show all your skills in one area. So same one as the last one that had the skills in the section there. Add a dash here to ensure that consistent formatting in your resume. Also add periods to all points to ensure consistent grammar. And then just a reminder that ensure all grammar is consistent, so periods at the end of all points in sentences, and to ensure tense match throughout your doc. Okay. And any points here to help me?
Reading through the work experience, the tens using their mobile app seems a little bit weird to me for some reason. I don't really know why. Uh, um, I think maybe it's just maybe I want to read A. I don't know.
I don't know. I see. Okay, right there.
Hackathon competition winner number one. I'm sure there's more information when that's not the redacted version, which is good.
Yeah, I believe this one was redacted a good amount just to take away the personal stuff
Yeah.
there.
No, I think overall this is pretty good.
Okay,
Reading through
great.
it.
Okay, now this one here. Tina did talk about how you switch between a few tenses here, choose one, such as present, for the summary and to ensure consistency. This paragraph should summarize how your experiences lead you into the next position you're looking for. It is subjective to your experience only. You can remove this extra info from both points or include these accomplishments at the end of your resume. Okay, and then you can move this to the end of your document. Experiences in education are more relevant when recruiters review your resume. And then, yeah, I get because the work experience is all down here. Oh, and then one more here. Try to limit your resume to one page, either by cutting off some information or by choosing a different template such formatting. One page is best for those students with 0 to 3 years of experience. Any points about this one?
Those are good points. I'm reading the summary at the beginning there.
Yeah.
And I like it. I think it says a good amount, but the one question I'm left with is they wrote uncovering and reporting 30 plus bugs. I would love a time span given with that because if it's 30 plus bugs over 8 years, I'm way less impressed than if it's like 30 plus bugs over like 8 months. So having unless it would make it look less impressive, then don't add the time. But if it makes it look more impressive, then add the time.
They have metrics. It's great.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll move on to the next here.
Oh, later it says 30 test cycles. I didn't read that yet.
Oh,
okay.
Is that what it said? All right. Now this style here. So Tina did say, I try to make your resume slightly more concise. Usually, one page is ideal for students, like what you said before, 0 to 3 years experience. So the example statement here is this is slightly vague / general statement. I would add organization or workplace, for example. I am also passionate about ... goals of the organization I join. This summary should reflect your experiences and personality and how they would contribute to a successful workplace. Okay. And then you can restrict this from the sentence and just put facilitated the large migration of ... Okay, very good. And then this is some more employment / volunteer experience. This isn't formatted well grammaticality. Sorry, that was horrible. You can write this. Sometimes use great communication skills to maintain clear and consistent ... And then this is the summer camp counselor. This point and above are less relevant as a student. Recruiters are aware of fewer work experiences, so need to include ones that don't align with software development / IT. These are still important though, and you can always bring them up the lessons of what you learned and the experiences in your interviews. That's good. And then soft skills in summary. So no need to repeat information from your projects tab. And I think that's all of that one there. And if you have anything to hop in on there.
Yeah, in the top section there, working knowledge of Visual Studio code bracket. Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code are two separate IDEs, so separate them as such. Other than that, I like that actually everything's spelt right. I do definitely agree with the soft skills summary repetition there. Simplifying that and taking that space back, and the LinkedIn learning courses, unless there's one of those that is super relevant to the job you're applying to, I would maybe consider just taking that space back as well and not having that there.
Great. Okay, on to the next. Two more left here. Okay, so this is a nice little style here. So Tina did say, overall, your resume is great, organized, informative. My big piece of advice is to try and make it more concise. Students with those 0 to 3 experience should have closer to about 1 page for the resume, as it makes it more clear to review for recruiters and hiring managers. And then you can remove this, and it doesn't really add any information. It sounds slightly awkward. You can just put committed to tackling. Okay, nice. And then, so languages and technologies, a great way to summarize your skills / tech stack. It makes it convenient for recruiters to review your resume. Yeah, that does look nice there. And this is employment history here for comment. No need to use 2 words at the start of most of these sentences. You want the summaries to be concise. They're meant to be reviewed, and then you can expand more in detail in interviews. Remove one of the words at the start of these sentences as they describe the same thing. Okay. Oh yeah, they have. Okay, great. And I think that's all for those comments there. Now, if you got any more, Danica, would be great.
I like this one. I don't know how to make it 1 page because I'm reading through some of these points, and a lot of these points are actually super, like they're actually giving me something, so I don't want to like nix them or change them. No, I like this one. I think it's really good.
Nice. Okay. Tony Stark's resume here.
I had to Google that address, and I had to confirm that it is Tony Stark's actual address. So that was interesting.
It is the real.
That made me laugh.
I know. When I got this one submitted, I was like, "Oh, I'll keep all this stuff in here," because it obviously made it all Tony Stark themed, so it's good. Now, so we'll talk about Tina's comments here. So we got a great summary, very informative, and to the point. I would just change the font to be slightly darker, as isn't easy to read when lighter. Okay. Now, next for the highlighted qualifications, I'd remove I here. Simply just put experience using /with ... save space, and it goes without saying that this experience is yours since it is your resume. Next, you can remove this line. You can always say this during interviews, and most employers note candidates are willing to learn new technology / languages when applying for a new role. Next, skills, organized skills section here. This is a great way to summarize your skills / stack. This is super helpful. Great. And the projects here. These are quite long and make your resume longer than I recommend at 1 page. If these are in your GitHub, you can just remove some of the detail here. And I'm assuming that you wanted either like add links and, oh yeah, there's supposed to be links there too. So for the detail and add links. um, and then some it's there. Oh, that's good.
I really
Top
like
1%
the
fastest type.
achievements on this one.
Yeah,
This
that's a good one.
actually like it kept it, I was kind of like going through that and I saw that and I was a little like reinvigorated, like, oh, this is fun. I like seeing this. It's
Yeah,
actually like a good, interesting achievement or like point to put in there. It's something a little different. You don't really see, but
that is.
so
Let's
if you
see.
if you have any like weird sort of accomplishment, technical or not, like it can be fun to put it on there because it will probably give the person reading it a good little like laugh. They're human too. They want to have that relief as well. So
It's great. Do you have anything to say about other than
yeah,
the
it
achievements?
definitely needs to be shortened to one page. Those projects take up a hearty amount of room, and
Yeah.
um, it's not necessary. And if they do have any sort of working experience, whether it's relevant or not, I would like to see one work experience
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. Cool. Great. Great. I think so. That's the last one there. That's all of the resumes I went through, and I can share the link with everyone that's a part of the call here. I'll copy the link and we can send it in the chat. And then everyone will have access to their resumes, whoever submitted. But hopefully, because we weren't able to get through all the resumes because we don't have infinite time. But we're actually got about 5 minutes left here, so we'll try to get through some Q&A. So here, these are just some that are picked up here, and then we'll see if we can answer them. Pretty good. Okay. So question 1, does having a resume that has a unique and different layout and format help or hurt your resume?
Um, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of different like hiring managers about this. In my opinion, it helps. Um, in the school's co-op program opinion, it doesn't. Um, so take with that what you will. I personally think it's always good to stand apart from the crowd if you can, even in a simple way. Those kind of cookie cutter resumes are cookie cutter for a reason because they do have a history of working, but that doesn't mean you need to go to the complete opposite end of it and go right to like a Canva perfectly pretty resume, but adding something that makes it like slightly more interesting, adding some like your name colored or those fun little skill pills that were pointed out as a good thing, a little icon or something just to make it look a little bit more unique will help make it more memorable in my opinion.
Great. Awesome. Then we'll get through question 2 here. Is it acceptable to use academic experience, projects, and assignments to replace professional experience?
Yeah, if you don't have any, it absolutely is. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Not everyone's going to immediately have that professional experience, and everyone who is hiring for these entry level jobs and for co-op jobs is like fully aware of that there is a great discrepancy between people who do and don't have experience, and there's a place for each of you in the workforce. But if you do have academic experience and want to put those in, definitely do it. I'm always going to recommend that if it's a personal pet project, to do that instead, just so you will stand out from the crowd and there isn't like five of you applying to the same job with the same assignment on there. But yeah, if it is a way to get that experience and you had a really good experience doing it and you're really proud of the project, definitely put it on there. Especially like when you guys get into like capstones and stuff, like those are unique and good projects. They're definitely worth highlighting.
Great. Thank you. Now, should I keep my previous experiences on my resume if they're not relevant to the job?
Everything is relevant to a certain degree. So yes. Don't let it take up too much room. So kind of use your best judgment on what you think that is. Like Tina has said through a lot of them, keeping the resume to one page is a lot more effective for your hiring group. So if it means you're pushing onto two-page, don't include it then. But seeing that you have some sort of working experience and have like worked as part of a team and highlight having a different way to highlight like your soft skills is always something good, because it does take something to maintain a job and keep a job, even if it's not a technical job. So
Yeah, great. Now, how can you get an interview even though level jobs ask for 1 to 3 years of experience?
I think it's important to know that the people posting those jobs aren't always in line with the people hiring for those jobs, and that everybody who is hiring is aware that their job posting is a wish list, and they're not actually expecting to get everything on that wish list. So they're going to put out there and try to get the best of the best. And you might not have that 1 to 3 years experience, but you have X, Y, and Z that is way more important to them than the 3 years experience. And so they're still going to consider you. So just trying to highlight the things that you do have is going to give you an upper hand.
Great. And I think this is one of the last questions here. So we're almost out of time. So, is automated resume tracking software commonly used? If so, what's the best way to get past it?
It's very commonly used, mostly with
Yeah.
bigger companies who are getting thousands and thousands of applicants, because they have to weed people out some way. There's not really a way to get past it. You kind of just have to work with it. So there are a plethora of sites out there that you can go on and upload your resume to, do your research. Don't upload it to a sketchy one that's going to like steal your data and skim it from you. You also want to protect your own privacy. But there are many sites out there where you can upload your resume and it'll scan them like the most common ATS systems and give you feedback like this is a 70% pass rate or whatever, and you can work with that information to do better. I always tell people to avoid using tables and too many unique things in their resume, so because that can confuse those systems and really split your information up and cause problems.
Oh, great. Thank you. So thank you, Danica, for coming and joining us. Very appreciate the resume feedback. And yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for attending. And if you need access to the link of the resume, if you submitted your resume for this co-op event, then you can open it up and see your feedback. And if we can check back on any questions here, but should be about everything for
It looks
today.
like there's one question from Charm there.
Oh.
I just I'm on my phone, so it's hard to type and be here. So I'm just gonna reply verbally. Is it okay for your post-grad to highlight your grades, but your bachelor's degree to highlight your thesis and your resume? My concern is that the flow education section will not be consistent. It's definitely okay. When it's highlighting the right thing. So as long as that thesis is relevant to the work you're applying to, definitely do it. Other than that, it's probably better to just keep it maybe a little bit simple unless you think it'll be really interesting to the hiring people.
Great. Thank you, and I hope everyone enjoyed and pulled something out from this. Thank you for joining. And thank you, Danica, for coming to be a speaker. Appreciate it. Great. Okay. Bye, everyone. And Charm, this is just one step of the career series, actually. I believe we have a few that are coming in the works. So this will start off with the resume workshop, and then I think we're going to be doing a interview prepping for technical interviews and kind of like follow the steps to help everyone get prepared for co-op searching. Yeah. So hope you attend. But yeah, thanks. And I will be ending this now.